Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Steve Forbes. Thank you for coming here today. I'm here today to formally announce my endorsement of Rudy Giuliani to be the next President of the United States. I do so because I believe that he is the right man for the right time. He's the man who can lead America in a world that is uncertain, how we fight forces of evil, and at the same time increase economic opportunity here at home, increase opportunities for innovation and the creation of better paying jobs. Rudy Giuliani's record as mayor is one of the most outstanding in American history. All of us are familiar to one degree or another what he did in combating crime, what he did in reducing welfare, what he did in making New York a truly livable place. But perhaps what isn't sufficiently appreciated is what he did on the fiscal side, the financial side. When he took office, New York's economy was a shambles, the budget was a mess. It had a deficit of over $2.3 billion, and when he took office, everyone, the press, the political establishment was saying, you have to raise taxes. What made me love this man was he took all those recommendations, just threw them in the garbage can, sent them to the dumpster. He recognizes that taxes are not just a means of raising revenue. He also knows they are a price and a burden. The tax you pay on incomes, the price you pay for working, tax on profits, the price you pay for being successful, tax on capital gains, the price you pay for taking risks that work out. And he understood that if you exercise fiscal discipline, reduce the tax burden, New York, and indeed eventually the nation, will prosper. So he just didn't talk the talk of fiscal conservatism, economic opportunity. He created it under the most difficult circumstances possible in a city where liberalism seems to be the middle name. For example, the city council, overwhelmingly Democrat. Probably you'd have to go to San Francisco to find one more liberal than this. You say the word tax cut and the allergies break out. And yet, he reduced or eliminated 23 taxes, cut the top personal income tax rate 21%, reduced sales taxes. When he did for a while on clothing, guess what? Clothing sales went up. When he did it on hotel occupancy went up. So he did it. 23 areas, over $9 billion. He reduced the tax burden on the typical New Yorker, New York tax burden by 19%. And what happened? Jobs were created for the first time in a long time. During his tenure, 423,000 jobs created. He controlled spending. During his tenure, spending went up 2.9%. Inflation went up almost 4% in New York City during that time. He kept spending increase below the rate of inflation in New York City. Amazing. And the bureaucracy, while at the same time he increased the number of cops, he increased the number of teachers, he reduced overall employment in the bureaucracy in New York by over 3%. And if you take out police and teachers, it was 20,000. I think the number is about 117,000 down to 97,000. So he understands not only vision, he understands detail to how to get things done. And this is what we need right now. He knows the federal income tax code is a horror. He knows we have to make major changes. In short, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to vision and getting things done, this is the Babe Ruth of politics. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. I agree with him. I couldn't say it any better. No one really understands our economy better than Steve Forbes. No one really understands the need for open markets, free markets, for dealing with taxes from the point of view of developing an economy rather than burdening an economy, to deal with the issue of the size of government, not just as an abstract issue, but for the purpose, again, of stimulating the private economy. All those principles worked here in New York City for us. It's very appropriate that we're here at NASDAQ right in the middle of Times Square, which, 10, 12 years ago was an abandoned area. It was an area of high crime. Almost everything you see here now today wasn't here 10 or 12 years ago. Almost none of it. This was not here. The theaters that are 2 blocks away weren't here. The restaurants weren't here. This was an area of drug dealers, prostitutes. Even the pornographic theaters had abandoned a lot of Times Square. Things were so bad here. Well, we changed all that. We changed all that with the help of, the understanding of a free and dynamic market, what that can do, and what that can do for giving jobs to people, giving jobs to people that are poor, giving jobs to people that want to move out of poverty, giving jobs to people who want to maintain themselves, and giving jobs for people who are reaching for the American dream. And Times Square has now turned around from being a dangerous place and a place where people didn't want to come to what is truly the crossroads of America and the crossroads of the world. So I can't think of having someone's support that would be more important in getting the point across that fiscal discipline, tax cutting, is not an art in and of itself. It's done for the purpose of stimulating an essentially private economy. And when you do it the way President Kennedy did it, the way President Reagan did it, and the way President Bush did it, and the way I did it as mayor of New York City, you learn that it works. I believe in cutting taxes, and I believe in fiscal discipline because I saw it work in New York City. I saw how even though you lower 23 taxes and you reduce the amount of money theoretically that's coming into government, all of a sudden you're collecting more money from the lower taxes than you were from the higher taxes. There are people that are running for President of the United States who oppose that. There are people that are running for President of the United States who don't agree with it on both sides. But there's no one running for President of the United States who understands it better than I do, and there's no one that's actually done it. So I thank Steve very, very much for this endorsement. It means a great deal to me, both politically and personally, to have his support and his advice and his understanding of this is going to mean a great deal for me and for the growth of our campaign and for my own personal support that you need in a campaign like this. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, Mr.